This is Emily from Emily Bakes Cakes, and I'm here to make my second birthday cake. I'm very excited about it. It's a cake I've never made before, but it's from the Modern Baker Cookbook by Nick Malgieri. I think that's how you say his name. And it's called a whipped cream layer cake. Now, normally in cakes you have some sort of fat, which would be either butter or oil, and then you also mix with the eggs and the other leavening things to give it the rise and to make it the tender crumb. And this cake, for the oil or for the fat, it has just the whipped cream. And so I'm very interested to see how that works. And then it has a caramel whipped cream frosting that you make. So this is going to be really fun, I think, just to try something new. I hope that it tastes good. I don't know, I love to be able to go to the library and look at all the different cookbooks that they have there. I know that there's so many fun recipes to try out there, and since it's my birthday, I get to make whatever cakes I want, and everyone just has to be nice about it. But it's one of my very favorite things, and so I'm excited to see how this works. Okay, so our whipping cream has been whipped with the vanilla, and now we are going to whisk in the eggs one at a time. So, I mean, you could do it by hand if you really wanted to. I think that sounds like a huge hassle, but... Alright, so that was the first egg, and here is the second egg going in there. Never whisked eggs into whipping cream before. And here is the last egg. So there's 3 eggs. Okay, so I have my 3 eggs are in there, and you can see it's kind of changed the texture a little bit. And now we're adding in the other 3/4 cup of sugar. So in total it's 1.5 cups of sugar. But we're just adding this in and whisking it. So there we go. Okay, so now that the sugar is in, we're going to whisk in the flour mixture in 3 additions, and we're going to whisk it to smooth after each one. So, let's see, if we just put in 3/4 of a cup about, does that look like it's about 1/3 of the mixture? We'll put that in. This is kind of a cool chiffon type cake. Okay, so that looks all whisked in. We'll add another 1/3. There we go. Okay, let's see. I think it's kind of fascinating to see what it looks like as it gets the flour mixed in there. Oh, so now it's looking more like a cake batter. Okay, and then now we'll add in the rest of the flour. Wonder if that's all mixed in. Looks like it's pretty good. Alright, now we just need to divide the batter between our 2 pans. Alright, so we've gotten off as much as we can of this. I'm going to just scrape the inside. That looks like a beautiful cake batter. Like, I'm really interested to see how this tastes and turns out. Now, so I'm spreading it between the 2 pans. So it's quite a bit thicker than, like, say, the chocolate cake we did. I need to actually scrape this one. So it says 350 for 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes. I don't know what I think about that. I think that I may set the timer for like 25 minutes and see how it's doing after that. Just because that's a really long time to cook a cake for. And I mean, obviously I've never cooked this cake before, and it is a more dense cake, and so then it might need more time to cook. But anyway, so this actually looks like I have a little bit more in there. Oh dear. There we go. So just spread this around. Okay, so just spread it around. Have it reach the edges. Let's see, now we have to scrape this off and put it in the oven. So we'll check back and I'll tell you if it did take the full 30 minutes. Okay, so we cooked our cakes. I ended up keeping them in for about 26.5 minutes. And you can see that they rose quite a bit. And I used this was a really great Pampered Chef thing that I got with a cake pan. And I just used this to scrape along the sides. I don't think I put enough spray on the sides. So you just let them cool for 5 minutes in the pan. And then you're supposed to let them cool the rest of the time on the wire rack. Oh! So you can see I just didn't put enough on the sides, but that really came out easily. Let's move this off of there. That's a lot warmer than you might think. Oh, that's what I needed to do. Get this one. To get this, it has some chocolate left on it from the cakes earlier today. So there we go, and let's put this here. Oh, let's see. Okay. Ooh, that looks great, if a little bit crumbly. I wonder how it will taste. Let me do this one now. Once again, oh, came out really well. Okay. So I had greased and floured the pans, and that parchment is always does the trick. Let's see. So yeah, I think this is going to be an amazing cake. And I'm going to make the caramel whipped cream frosting filling. But I'm not going to finish it tonight. I will finish it tomorrow to put it on. But I'm going to make the caramel now and then put it in with the whipping cream, and then you keep it in the fridge, and then you whip it up right when you're ready to use it. But I'm really impressed with how these cakes came out. Okay, so now we've started to make the caramel for the frosting for the caramel whipped cream. And so what we've done here is we put a 1/2 cup of sugar in, and then I put in 2 teaspoons of water. The original recipe only said 1 teaspoon, but in my making of caramel before, it can be kind of tricky to get everything melted at the same time without letting certain parts get too brown. And also I found it's kind of useful maybe to add like a teaspoon of corn syrup as well to the caramel. So you can see that it's starting to turn liquid, and it's probably best not to stir it just because I don't understand how crystallization works, but it's not been useful that way. Also, I have a 1/2 cup of cream that I have heated up in the microwave so that when this becomes brown, then I will pour this in, and you don't stir it, and it'll just be really steamy. Okay, so you can see how it is all kind of melted. Melting the sugar is kind of tricky. Now this is super, super hot. Do not get it on yourself. And you just kind of are getting all the little chunks, but they are all pretty much gone. I mean, there's a few in there, but that's all right. Who doesn't want a nice little crispy caramely thing? So now we take it off the heat, and here's what I'll tell you. This part is very, very dangerous. So we're going to pour the cream in there. and you will want to stir it, but don't. Wait for a minute. Let's go like this. The milk had gotten kind of a film on it from when I had warmed it up. Now we have this, and we have kind of the residual heat in order to try and re-melt that chocolate or that caramel. So you can kind of see that's under there. You just kind of keep stirring it around in order to get it all mixed together. Usually I use a different caramel recipe than this, but I thought I would try first the caramel recipe that came with the cake. If it doesn't work, then I'll just go with my own regular caramel recipe that I used from the Tartine cookbook. Alright, so our caramel has cooled to room temperature. So I'm going to add the 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then I'm just going to add the caramel into the whipped cream. And I tasted the caramel and I added a little bit of salt just because I like the contrast of that. I think it makes it taste better, so I just did like a little bit, just like a pinch or two. And that's only if you like that flavor. But if you taste it and you like it just fine the way that it is, then that's totally great too. So here we go. We're going to mix that in. You can see that it's kind of, let's see if I get off of there. My little whisk from a handheld mixer that got broken, but it's been nice to have just this tiny little whisk left over from that. And I think it looks like it's pretty well all mixed in, so I'll just put saran wrap over this and put it in the fridge. So we're back, and here is my whipping cream that has been in the fridge all night, and it looks great. So I'm just going to pour it in here, and you can just see that. It's just kind of caramely color. I'm really interested to see how it tastes, if you can taste the caramel or not. So we're going to whip that up. Also, I'm interested to see if it just whips up as like regular whipping cream would. So let's put that in there. Put my whisk attachment. Okay, is that in there? Okay, so go ahead and keep measure, and your all set spatula. That actually looks done. Let's see how firm. I don't know. Might want to do it just a little bit more, just to make sure that it will be sturdy enough to stay in the cake. There we go. All right. Oh, I can kind of smell it. It smells kind of whipped creamy. So, yeah, this is my birthday today, and so still had to go to church. Got to go to church today. Going to my brother's house for dinner, and that will be so fun. My sister will be there. My other sister is having her son, who has a birthday in September as well. They're having a birthday party too, and he asked for that chocolate cake that I made in the other video. So you can see, just putting this there. This looks like a ton of whipping cream. So I think I'll put a little bit extra, more than a cup, since this is only a 2-layer cake. And get that around. This looks beautiful, right? It's spreading so well. Okay, let's see. Now we'll put on the next layer. No? Okay, go ahead.
I am!
Okay, so we have this cake. Let's see. No, we'll have it be on the top like that. Okay. Because I think I'm trying to decide which way will make it easier to fill. And I think filling it with the cream this way will be easier. So we'll put the cream on top. And I'm using all my many years of frosting experience to do this. So honestly it doesn't matter because there's plenty of whipped cream, so we'll just fill in all the gaps with the whipped cream. Use the cups to make sure that I have the same kind of on the top as I do on the sides, or I mean on the middle. Okay, so now just gonna kind of spread a little bit of this in there. Now this is one of the things that Nick says in his cookbook is that that it will melt. That this whipping cream will kind of melt if you don't keep it in the fridge. And so I think that this is more delicate, like it's not as stable as like say a buttercream or something like that, and so that's why you have to, when you're, that's why I froze the cakes, because I thought, oh, that'll help keep it cold so that hopefully the whipping cream will be more stable on there and will stick to it better because it will freeze to it kind of. So, because I know when I put buttercream on frozen cakes, it works really well also. So let's see. Let me put this. How I like to do it is I like to use my spatula and put it on there. Oops, making kind of a mess. I usually have a bigger spatula. So, and then I kind of scrape it off of that and put it on there. Let's see, we still have some more spots. I don't know, is there a better angle maybe to show, if you came over here, Sarah, to show the, because I'm putting it on over here. So let's see. So one of the things that we use, okay, so just to kind of make it have more uniform edge and just kind of make it go pretty there. Oh, you can see kind of where the frosting is showing through. And actually I tasted it and it tastes a lot more like caramel than you might think. It actually was pretty good. So, let's see. So, let me do one last round of this, like that. And then we will put, let's see. So, it's too good to not have my kids taste it, I guess. Alright, so let's see. Let me just put this in like that. Just kind of smear it around to give it a little bit of a decoration. Scott is a really good decorator. Like if I was feeling extra fancy, then I would probably home make some caramel and drizzle it all over this. In the book, he has nuts on the side, but he doesn't call for it in the recipe, just like toasted slivered almonds. But I don't know, I think I kind of want to taste it without the nuts on there. So, anyway, I'll have to tell you how it is when we cut it tonight for my birthday.